online, a lot of money. Now, that's something that I have heard people say. And isn't it good to just sit there, do something on your computer, and then have some dollars dropping in your bank account? That's interesting. It's wonderful. Is it a possibility? Yes, it is a possibility. And we have someone who's done that, has made some good money, and not only that, is helping people to make money online. Now, if you're here for the first time, this is Now Tell Us, and I'm your host, Anthony Morore. At Now Tell Us, we have guests come and tell us stories, they come and inspire us, they come and educate us on a subject, and always we have some great guests. Our guest today is known as David Simons. He is an entrepreneur. He likes calling himself a mediapreneur. That is an entrepreneur solely focused on media-based businesses. And he has a lot of qualifications. And if we start mentioning them right now, we won't finish by the end of this episode. So I'd like us not to waste one more minute, but just go deep into the episode and learn something new today, or build on what you've learned to make a successful online business. This is Now Tell Us, leveraging your online business. And now, please help me to welcome our wonderful guest today, David Simons. Hi, David.
What's going on, my brother? How are you, Anthony? Thank you so much for
I'm
having me on.
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Excellent, by grace, the grace of God. I'm grateful.
Yeah. Please tell us where in the world you are.
Well, right now I'm actually in Mexico. I'm in Cancun, Mexico right now, but I live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Okay, wonderful. So, what takes you to Mexico today?
I'm actually in a mastermind, Russell Brunson's mastermind called Mastermind in Paradise. So I've been here the
Wow.
whole week, just
Uh-huh.
learning from amazing leaders and speakers and teachers.
That's wonderful. How long is it? Is it a few
Uh,
days or 1 week? How long?
five day mastermind, technically six.
I would have wished to be there. I would
Yeah.
have wished, really, I would have wished to be there, because this guy is the bomb. And I believe also the other speakers that are coming to that mastermind are also people that I would love to hear to just be someone better
Yes,
and
for sure,
achieve some live my purpose, achieve some great things on this planet.
for sure.
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about online business, and not only online business, but also leveraging your online business. Um, and maybe would start by knowing a bit about you, because there's someone who could be seeing you for the very first time. And I really didn't know from what point I was going to start introducing you, because you've got a big portfolio.
Thank you.
Yeah, just go ahead and let us know a bit about you.
Yeah. So, as you shared, I'm David D. Simons. I come from Bakersfield, California, born and raised there. To two amazing Ghanaian parents. My family is Ghanaian. I'm Ghanaian American,
Hmm.
and I always share this story, which I'm sure you can relate, and some of your listeners can relate. I grew up in a household where you had four options: lawyer, doctor, engineer, accountant. I was supposed to be the engineer. My younger brother was supposed to be the doctor. I didn't listen. I went down a path that was not the path they wanted, and actually, I got into a lot of trouble as a kid. I changed my grade from a D to a B in my English class. I hacked into the system, and I was expelled from my junior year of high school, and had to go to a new high school my senior year. So that doesn't make for a good way to get into college. But
Definitely not. Yeah.
miraculously, I got into Sacramento State University, where I declared as an engineering major. The first year was fine. I was studying mechanical engineering. In the second year, I started to realize I hate this. I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. And in African culture, you don't tell your parents no.
Hmm.
So I wrote my mom a letter. I said, "Hey, this is the deal. I'm not really feeling this. This is not my passion. I have no desire to do this. I'm going to follow this thing called digital media." And at the time, nobody even, this is 2004, 2005,
Mm,
nobody knew what the word digital media was.
I
And
didn't.
yeah. And
Mm,
so as I'm following passion, I declare it. My mom was obviously upset, wasting all this time, all this money. You're going into this career. There's no money in it. Why would you do something so foolish? And I didn't care. I just said, this is what I love. I'm going to do it. And
mhm,
I started using, if the listeners remember MySpace, I started using MySpace and Facebook to help people grow their brands online for fun. I didn't
mhm.
even know it would be an industry. I didn't know this would be a space. I started using that. One opportunity leads to the next. I leave California and I work for this company called TerraCycle. I become the digital media marketing manager there, and eventually the global digital media marketing manager, managing companies, managing social media brands like, partnerships like Kraft, Frito Lay, Huggies, all these big Fortune 500 companies. And I did that for 4.5 years while working. I've always been an entrepreneur, so I built up Kingdom Social Media on the side, which initially was helping everyone. And then we started to realize our focus was, I said I wanted to help the people that have impacted me the most, which were speakers, coaches, trainers, experts, consultants. So we zeroed in on that niche market and have been doing that for the last 10 years, helping speakers, coaches, consultants, and experts. And today, our focus is helping them to have 6-figure days with webinars and challenges.
Wow, wow. That's quite an intro. And as I said, I couldn't just know exactly where to focus on. There's a lot that you've left behind, but then I'll ask the people who are watching us at the end of the episode to follow you to learn more and be inspired more on these. Now, we happen to be connected to people who are going in that path where their parents designed for them, just like they were saying pilot, engineer, and you know it. And some could have already started on the careers and they're going on a daily basis to a job that they hate. So the minute they are in the morning, they are just looking at the clock when it's going to strike 5. We have online businesses. They don't have an idea where to start. What can be turned into a online business? How do I just get started having a full-time job? Maybe you can just give us an idea of where do I start? How do I go about it?
Well, I love to share where I started, right? So I read a book, which I'll recommend for all the listeners, a book called Caught Between a Dream and a Job by Dr. Delatoro McNeil, who at the time was somebody I was looking up to and didn't know I'd ever meet, and has become a friend, a client, a mentor. And in that book, he talks about finding your dream. Like, what are you passionate about? What are you excited about? Go find a dream job. So it's not necessarily, some people it's like just want to leave their job and go work full time in their business.
Mm-hmm.
That's not always the most practical step. The better a better process would be find a dream job, is exactly what I did. Find a dream job in something that you love or want to learn about. And I did. I got my dream job. I felt like I was playing every day. I didn't know this was, I'm like, wow, I get paid to post on social media and do this. It felt like play. So finding a dream job. Then while you're in your dream job, then start to work on your dream business. And you start to work on the concepts and the things that you need to have to maybe make sure that you can transition properly. For
Mm-hmm.
me, what I did was I started to just put little things out there, test different trainings at different places. Started working on my job on my business a couple hours a day, and then to the point where I was working. It got so intense. I was working 8 hours on my job and 8 hours on my business every
Mm-hmm.
day for
Mm-hmm.
6 months. So here's what my day looked like: 5 a.m. to about 8 a.m. I'm working on my business. 8 a.m. to 9, I was commuting into the office, still doing some business stuff. 9 to 12, I'm honoring my job. 12 to 1 on my lunch breaks, I was taking appointments. 1 to 5, I'm on my job, honoring my job. 5 to 6, I'm commuting home, probably taking appointments and stuff, handling things. 6 to about 8, I have dinner with my wife. 8 to 12, I worked on the business. So if you do the math, it's 8 hours in both places. That was my life for 6 months. Sometimes people aren't willing to sacrifice, and that's
Mhm.
what you're going to need to do. You're going to need to sacrifice sleep, or you're going to have to sacrifice your dreams. You're going to pick one.
Mhm. Hmm. That's interesting because these days I wake up, other people wake up and they are on their social media, they're on TikTok, they are on maybe YouTube using watching some cat videos. They don't want to be committed to their business. And
Right.
I'm curious, and you tell us about your business, working from 5 to 8 on your business in the morning. What does that all entail? Now, in your case, maybe it will be different in other people's cases, but in your case, what did that entail?
Yeah. That entailed at that time, um, I was serving the clients. So the
Mm-hmm.
fulfill because I didn't have the team we have today at that time. So I was handling the work that needed to be done. I was handling the social media, the ads, all the things that we were doing to help these businesses. So it was the fulfillment. I was handling all the fulfillment, scheduling the post and putting up the content and getting the ads ready and running the campaigns. So that was my focus back then. So for me, it was doing that. And then a mixture of, so for me, again, I give all glory to God because some of the things and the ways that things happen for me for the business, I mean, I couldn't have planned it. It was the hand of God. So um, my foray into business from leaving corporate into business happened where a mentor of mine gave me an opportunity to speak. And I went to speak and I was teaching these business owners in the automotive space about digital marketing. So shout out to Chuck Zarembo. He was the one who made that happen. I'm still forever grateful.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sharing with them about different concepts in digital marketing. And they, at the end of the presentation, they're like, great job. This is amazing. How do you do this for us? I wasn't coming to teach them how to do it for them. I just came to teach them. I didn't expect that.
Mm-hmm.
So Chuck, my mentor's like, you need to create an offer for them. I was like, okay.
What's an offer?
I'm like, all right, right. So I'm like, okay. So I started putting stuff together. I put these packages together, and it was about 10 business owners. 5 of them bought the offer. So I went
Mm.
from, I think I had 1 or 2 clients at the time. I went from 1 or 2 clients to 7 clients, monthly retainer clients in one day.
Mm.
So that's why I say a lot of the work I was doing was fulfillment. I was fulfilling to serve the clients that we were getting.
Okay, wonderful. Yeah, so you've heard it, you who's watching or listening, uh, how you can you can just transition from your job, your 9 to 5, into a business. And I don't know in what area you are, in what work you do, what is your career. But I've got this. Fine, if it's not something that you love doing, it's not something that you would like to be your dream business, then you're gonna find that job that is your dream job, which can end up being your dream business. That's so powerful, David.
Yeah.
That's so
Hmm.
powerful. And when I first saw you, I saw you on an episode with Omar, and I was
Yes.
like, "Oh, this is wonderful." And this is at a point where it's not only doing something online, having an online business, but then is making this business a bigger business, that what we call leveraging. And I know there are people doing like that, and I know where you are in that mastermind. There are people who are uh, living their big dreams just by doing something online and making seeing how they're gonna leverage. Maybe tell us ways to leverage. Now, people have started, maybe they are not dedicating to a 8 hour day on their business. Maybe it's just 2 hours or 1 hour each day, but then that can be turned into a full-time business at some point. So how do we go about this? How do we grow it? How do we expand it?
That's a great question. Um, the first thing is this: you have to have a clear vision. What do you want? What do you desire? What do you want to achieve? Right?
Mhm.
A lot of people don't know that part. Like I know that sounds like a very simple question, but really, what do you want? What is your desire goal for your vision? Do you want to have a business that allows you to be free and flexible to travel? You want to have a business that you have to be on the phone all day, you want, like, what do you really, 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 really want? And getting so crystal clear, because I have a good friend of mine, Brian Adamson, who says, um, there's nothing worse than making miserable millions,
Mm.
because how you set up your vision from the beginning is how it's going to be in the end. So I don't ever want your listeners to overlook this step, right? It could be like, hey, I just need money now. I just want to get money. Okay, you can get money, but you could be miserable getting money too.
Mm.
So, so, so let's make sure first we craft a vision that makes the most sense for us, for our purpose, for our desires, and then from that standpoint, the thing I did, which I think everyone should do, and God taught me, was prepare for growth. Prepare for growth means the vision that you have, what does that look like if you were to have that now? What do you need for that vision now? So, in my case, as I was starting to grow, I realized I needed some help. So I started to put I did this I learned this from Chris Ducker, who has a book called Virtual Freedom. I I put an org chart together, and I put all the roles that I would love to have for my ideal vision. Right, I had COO in there. I had, you know, content person in there. I had ads person in there. I had all the different roles that I would have desired to have,
Mm-hmm.
and then I put myself in all the boxes because I'm fulfilling all those roles now. I mean, in at that time, and slowly but surely, what I started to do was I started to remove myself from one of the boxes. Okay, got an executive assistant. I removed myself from that box. Got a COO. I removed myself from the operations box. Got somebody on the ads. I'm not touching the ads anymore. Removed myself from that box. And so the person that's starting this business needs to start with the vision like that.
Mm-hmm.
What is this dream? What does this vision look like in its fullest state, fullest extent? And how do you position that? The next thing, um, is the work. What are the most profitable producing activities that bring money to the business? This is where most people get it wrong. They'll focus on, oh, I need to get work on my branding. Oh, I need to work on my funnel. Oh, I need to work on this or work on that. Like, okay, those things are great, but what's the most profitable producing thing in your business? That's what you want to spend your time on. If it's phone calls, you need to be making phone calls. If it's emails, you need to be sending emails. If it's sending direct messages on Instagram, you need to be doing that. What amount of time do you have built in to focus on your profit producing activities? If you're not doing that, then it's not going to be a good sustainable business.
Mm-hmm.
Most people do a lot of busy work in business. Still to this day, I prioritize profit producing activities. That's the first thing I did earlier this morning. I was working on the things that are producing profit for the business, working on every element that I can for that. Like, I can't express enough how important that is. There's the business, and then there's the working on the business that can help you to move needle forward. What are those things? You need to zero in on those things. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I would tell your audience. And a lot of that, we'll probably get into it. One of the ways I do that is through live events, virtual events, webinars, challenges. It's what we build for our clients as well. But these are really key and really critical.
Hmm. Thank you for that. And
Yeah.
thank you for mentioning about the events, live events, webinars, and because I was going into the area of uh, how you get the clients that you do. And I was thinking now, because you've told us that there are people who have heard of doing some webinars or maybe doing some live events. Like in your case, you talked about speaking at an event and you were asked to give them an offer. What's the general process between now? I've presented, I've done a webinar, I've gone into an event, I've given a speech, and what's the actual process and the steps to take in order for me to now start working with a client? Because I know for many people it could not be as easy as it sounds.
Yeah. You're talking about on a webinar, right?
Maybe, yeah, you can dive into that. You can just focus on that
Okay.
because maybe they
So
could be different from doing a live event or maybe a speech.
right.
Uh-huh.
So I'll start with the webinar. Depending on the webinar, there's a couple of different types of webinars, right? You have webinars that are webinar to book call model. You have a webinar that's a webinar to a challenge model. You have a webinar that's just a webinar to product. Those are the three types of webinars that we do. So I'll start with a webinar to book call. A webinar to book call, I think, is the easiest sell because you're not selling on the webinar. And any webinar that's you're doing, if the price point is over 2K, you don't want to sell on the webinar
Mm.
because it's psychological. People need to ask questions typically around the offer before making that 2K decision. So we'll typically take them to a book call. So something like this. I'll start the webinar off like, "Hey, welcome to the webinar on how to leverage webinars. I want to let you know straight off from the top that I have nothing to sell you on this webinar. I put your purse, put your wallet away. I'm just going to be pouring information into you that's going to help you go to the next level. However, at the time when we get into the end of the content, I will provide an opportunity for you to learn more of how we serve. And if I've done a great job, I'll ask you to enter your information to learn more about that. Is that fair? Sounds good? Cool. So now I put everybody at ease. There's a webinar to book call. If I'm on a webinar to um, challenge, it's actually quite easy because the offer is a lower price point. So the transition there is, hey, you've enjoyed this training so far. We've been here for about an hour. Imagine if you could have this kind of level of training, but it would be for 5 to 10 hours of time. And typically, most people would do this in a course format. In a course, you have to learn and watch, but I'm going to teach you in a live setting over 5 days, and it's only going to cost you $297. Where most courses will charge you anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000. So it's a no-brainer offer for people. So that's where we do the webinar to challenge. And then in a webinar to product, it's similar process. You're going to let people know something of that nature. Um, hey, you come to webinars all the time. People always have a product, something to sell. I do have something to sell you, but I want to earn the right to sell you. So everything I'm going to share with you is stuff that you can take action on. But if you want to continue the learning and become better at what I'm going to share with you, I will have an opportunity for you to learn. But I will only share it if you feel I've given tremendous value. I'll ask you, did I fulfill my promise? And if I did, I'll ask you to share. Ask you for me to share the offer. Is that fair? And then when I get to the end of that training, I'll say, hey, I promised you to deliver XYZ. Did I deliver on my promise? Was the content awesome? Did you get value? Let me know. And let me know yes in the chat if I delivered on the value. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, now I'm going to go into the offer. So I just kind of gave you three scenarios where you transition into the offer.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's wonderful. Yeah, and because of time, we won't go into the others where you're doing a live event or maybe it's a speech that you're just giving, because I know there are other things that you could add on that. And this is the reason that I'm going to ask people to follow you. I know they've gained something from that. So at some point, they will follow you. They will go to your website, they will look for you and connect with you. But before you go into that, I know the people who are watching, some of them love to hear numbers.
Yeah.
And I know you've got some many numbers to share with us, like how you've been doing your business, the kind of money you make, and maybe tell us of an event because you talked at some point of a six-figure day. What does that and what does that look like? Yeah, give us
Yeah,
some numbers, inspire someone to get started or maybe grow their business online.
for sure. I always like to talk about our clients' numbers. We do numbers too, but I always like talking about our clients.
Okay.
There's a client of ours who I'm saying it today because he just tagged us on Facebook. He just thanking us for helping him. His name is Vance Dotson. He made $412,000 in one day, right? And in his words, he said it was 1 to 2 hours um, from one webinar, right? And so we helped Vance map out the story, put all the pieces together, um, and he went and executed the play, and he had a 412K day.
412.
Yeah,
That's a big number. That's a
it,
big number.
it is.
Yeah.
It's
Uh-huh.
huge.
Oh,
Um,
that's big. And yeah, so for whoever is listening, you can make the numbers, and you don't have to start at 400. You can always start at yeah, your monthly salary that you make. You can just make a goal that I'm gonna make it, level it to the point where my business and my job are on the same level. And maybe the next time that the thing will be, or the goal will be, to double your monthly income.
there
I
you go.
think that's how it goes. I love going step by step.
Yes.
Yeah. For example, I've done some online business, or maybe offered some course, or maybe just as you were saying, but I
Yeah.
haven't leveraged it. And this is one of the reasons maybe why I love listening to you, and maybe I'll grow to the point that you are, or maybe to the point where your clients are. So I look forward to that,
Yes.
and I hope the others watching also would want to go into that path.
For sure.
What could be now? You talked about checking some boxes where you are removing yourself from some of the roles. And the
Yes.
question that I have, maybe others are curious about, how big is your team right now?
Yeah.
Which boxes have you marked, checked yourself out of?
Yeah. We're a team of just added another person on. I think a team of 11 now,
Mm-hmm.
um, and growing. Um, and yeah, it's great. I just want to give a shout out to the whole KSM team. I think anybody who thinks success happens because of one person is misled. There's no success without team. I'm nothing without the team. The amazing team. I could go on and on about the amazing people that work at Kingdom Social Media, and it's a family, and that's what also produces the result. It's not just me, and I think regarding the boxes, I pretty much get to stay in the strategy lane. We have a team that handles the operations, team that handles the build, team that handles the ads, team that handles the copy, team that handles the design. My main work is just strategic work, helping the client with the strategy, helping the client with their story, helping the client with their offer, and helping them with their positioning. That's where I stay today. I stay in the strategic mode.
Wow. What's your big dream right now?
My
I know you've achieved quite, but then
Yeah.
we always have something above that. So what's your
My
big dream?
my big dream is pretty crazy, and a lot of people would wonder if this is possible. I want to help 1 billion people discover their God given gifts. I want people to find their. I'm passionate about gifting, and I know that's a goal. Well, let me not speak it, but I don't think it will happen in my lifetime. It's something that will have to live beyond me. But that's my goal. I want to help people discover their gifts, and I want people to make money from their gifting. That's why I do what I do. I want people to understand that God has given them a gift to be able to multiply what their gifts and talents are, and to also produce income and monetize those gifts.
Wow. There you are, bro.
Yeah.
Now, to someone, it may just appear just a wish or something. Is just a crazy dream to someone. But then there is where we identify with you, because my big dream, and maybe I'll tell you this because there is someone who told me I kept talking about my dream of maybe hitting 1 million, helping 1 million people. Someone told me that's a small dream. And so I went to 10 million people and said, "Oh," someone else came and go, "Oh, that's a small dream." So I came to a point where I said, okay, my dream is helping 1 billion people, something that you said. And someone still told me, now you're giving yourself a limit. So my dream now is helping over 1 billion people. Now, you are the word over.
There we go. There we go.
There we are. There we are. And it's possible. And
Yeah.
you say maybe not in your lifetime, but I have to just encourage you that and tell you that's from my inspiration that these are things that still can happen in our lifetime.
Mm,
These are things that can happen in your lifetime. It can
for
happen
sure.
in my lifetime. And this is
Yeah.
why I base my statement.
Mm,
Like if we have the apps that you talk about that's about how many 20 years back when people didn't know Facebook, they didn't know WhatsApp, TikTok, all these apps. And we have an app made in the years that we have been on this planet for those that time when you went into business. An app is made today, and after 5 months, 10 months, or maybe 1 year, it's been downloaded by more than 1 billion people.
mm.
So whatever product that you can make right now, you can achieve that in your lifetime. And that's
Love that.
I pray that you achieve your big dream in your
Thank
lifetime.
thank you, my brother. I appreciate that.
You're most welcome. So
Yeah.
that's the same thing that I believe. And wow, it's been wonderful having you here. Our time is up, so we're gonna sign off just soon.
Yeah.
Please, how can people find you?
Yeah, you can find me at daviddsimons.com. You can go to David D. Simons on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, X. Yeah, I'm at TikTok, same thing. David D. Simons. So, yeah, it's an honor, man. Thank you for having me on.
So wonderful to everyone who's listening. Rush there, go to daviddsimons.com or the other platforms and connect with David.
Yep.
Before you leave us with something that we should never forget.
Never forget that the biggest risk in life you'll make is not taking risk. You got to take risks. I am a product of all the risks that I've taken. Um, that's faith, right? Taking the risk. A lot of people are scared. I don't know if I take this risk, will it work? Well, one of my mentors, the late Dr. Miles Monroe, said, "How long are you going to be dead?" Right? Take the risk. So if that dream, the book, the business, the take a risk. What's the worst that could happen? Just take the risk. You got one life. Just take the risk.
Wow. You got one life. You better take that risk,
Yeah.
because the biggest risk that you can do is failing to risk.
That's it.
That's great.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you very much, David. It's been an
Thank-
honor and a pleasure having you here.
Appreciate you, Anthony. Blessings, brother.
Thank you. And to everyone who's watching us or listening to us, even if you're getting to hear this, the recorded version of it, we appreciate you taking your time. Please leave us your comments, questions for future episodes. And don't forget to go to www.davidsimons.com. That's it for today. I've been your host, Anthony Mwerode, this being Now Tell Us podcast. And our great host today has been David D. Simons. Until next time, it's bye for now.